Hello and welcome to another Warframe episode. In this video, I will be talking about a question that was asked via a comment in a previous video I made of a Tower 3 survival. The question asked was, what mod setup do you use for your Nova? This mod setup I'm about to show you is pretty much what I use for everything I do except for speed farming. Let's begin with the Nova Warframe itself. Now you may notice it is not formatted at all. I'm sure I could format it maybe 3 times or so and put another mod in there, up my vitality, but I don't really feel it's needed to get the job done. The aura that I use is Energy Siphon. It's really helpful if 2 to 3 other people run Energy Siphon with you, as it all stacks and you'll gain much more energy over time. Vitality I use, not maxed, about halfway. It's good enough for what I personally feel I need. The redirection is just below maxed. That's because I also use it for my Necros, which I don't want to limit it to a 666 shield. I want to have it a little bit above that for the runs that I do. I also use the Streamline effect for increased power efficiency. Gotta have my antimatter drops and molecular primes costing a lot less than they normally do. Always gotta carry around flow. It's always nice to have 400 energy waiting to get spent all at once. Carry stretch for pretty good range increase. Gotta have your intensify if you plan on one shot in a group of people. If it's even one below maxed, it won't do it. Wormhole for the speed room tests and the towers and to get across annoying gaps in the maps. On to the primary weapon. My weapon of choice, the Gorgon Wraith. This Wraith was given out maybe 2 events ago or so. If you don't have one, then any weapon that is modded correctly and formatted will pretty much get the job done. As you can see, I've formatted this 3 times. I have a maceration on here, a maxed split chamber because it's already a fast shooting weapon. Having multi-shot on it is going to be pumping up the damage even more. Having an increased fire rate and puncture with shred. It enables the weapon to shoot through an enemy into the enemy behind him. Having cryo rounds and infected clip on here create a viral effect, which is plus 75% damage onto Grenier's health. Rupture for increased impact damage because this is an impact weapon. And I also use Hammer Shot for increased crit damage and status chance. The increased status chance of the viral effect comes in handy when you're fighting the heavy Grenier in the towers. At the bottom right of the screen, you can see the viral effect damage, as well as the impact damage that the weapon dishes out at a pretty decent 17.3 rounds per second, as well as a 36% status chance. For the sidearms I use the Dex Furus. They were given away on a 1-year anniversary of the game. I equate them to an extended clip version of the Vipers, the Twin Vipers. On the Dex Furus, I use a no return for increased puncture damage because they're a puncture damage weapon. I use Lethal Torrent, which gives 60% fire rate and multi-shot. I also use a Gunslinger, which gives an additional 72% fire rate, which gives me 132% fire rate total, and a Barrel Diffusion at 120% for a total of 180% multi-shot. I use a not so maxed out Hornet Strike, and pistol ammo mutation is almost like required for this weapon because you run out of ammo so fast. I also use a Jolt for increased status chance and electric damage, and an Ice Storm for an increased magazine capacity, as well as a little bit of extra ice damage. On the bottom right, you'll be able to see the magnetic effect created by the ice and the electric damage mods. Also the no return pumping up the impact damage, and this weapon shoots at an incredible 46.4 rounds per second from the Lethal Torrent and the Gunslinger. Onto my current preferred melee weapon of choice, the Dragon Nakana. No need to format this weapon. As long as you have a potato in it, you're going to have more points than you know what to do with. The stance that I use is the new-ish Decisive Judgment, which drops from the conflicted dark sectors. Fury, great mod to have any melee weapon, increased attack speed by 30%. Pressure Point, Also a great mod to have on any melee weapon, increased melee damage overall. Use a Jagged Edge for increased slash damage, because the weapon already does slash damage inherently. Use a Fever Strike, coupled with a North Wind to create a viral effect for the Grenier, an Organ Shatter for increased crit damage, a Rendering Strike for more slash damage, and a Berserker for increased attack speed when you crit, and you crit quite often with this build. Anyways, I hope this was helpful in any way, or at least interesting, and if you deem this video worthy enough, like it. Or if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments section below. This is Apox, signing out.